You're weak. You could never be the alpha. Whose man's is this? Look, the strong feed off of the weak, and there's no mercy in today's political playgrounds. Wolf's canned air. One inhalation, and you'll be howling at the moon for more. Backed by lab research and scientific analytics, Wolf's canned air is literally Timberwolf breath in a can. Temporary swelling in the nipples, 60% chance you lose them. Ringing in the ears, probably 80% chance. Uncontrollable urge to spit, 7 out of 13 people spit all over the product demonstrators. But look, if you can handle it, the results are astounding. I take it before every show, it dilates my pupils. I instantly feel like a Timberwolf on the prowl. It'll increase confidence, sex drive, put hair on your ass, chest, nether regions. Wolf's canned air. If you have a rec league basketball game, you'll want to try it out. Teen wolf-like experiences. Results may vary. Visit wolfscannedair.com, or you can follow them on Twitter at wolfslairair. First can's free, and with that first can, you get a red flannel. So dope. Wolf's Canned Air. Howl with us.
Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody?
We got something special for you this week.
Trash all that. Rowdy and the Piff.
Nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Developing some type of weather weapon.
Almost like sexual asphyxia, like...
Yo, yo, Rowdy and the Piff.
Yoy, yoy. Hi, did I spook ya? Welcome to Rowdy and the Piff. My name is Rowdy, also known as the Goose. With me today, as always, the Piff, also known as the Goat. Are you really actually scared today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the answer. It's true. It's true. We're terrified, and because it's October, so what does that mean? Well, Halloween's right around the corner, isn't it? Isn't it, Piff? Isn't it right around the corner?
Yeah, it's right around the corner, man. And up at my house, it's really foggy today, so it really sets the mood for the Friday the 13th, pre-Halloween scare fest.
True. And that's today. Friday the 13th is when we're recording this. And it's Friday the 13th falling in October, the year of the death and the ghosts and the ghouls and Halloween. So we're going to get a little bit spooky for you. Do you think you can handle it, huh? Do you think that you can handle it today?
I'm ready to talk spooky shit.
Let's talk about some spooky shit. Here's the thing. Is anything even really scary? If you think about it, the last 87,000 horror movies you saw, were you really scared? When was the last time that you were actually scared of some shit,
It's been a while. I went and saw it a couple weeks ago. I wasn't really scared at all. There's not too many movies that'll actually scare me, to be honest. And they better be rated R, because if they're not rated R, then probably not going to scare me.
It's not rated R, it's a trash movie. Speaking of it, I saw that movie as well, and I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. That's just because I like the movie It, and I have this memory, a scary memory, and makes no sense. I don't even know if it really happened or not, but when I was a kid, at least that's what this memory is, I had a memory, let me just keep saying memory over and over again, of me standing behind a couch, which makes no sense, first of all, because I feel like the couch was supposed to be up against the wall, but I was standing behind a couch, peeking over, looking across the room, which was, in my memory, obviously 37 yards away. That's how big the room was. And the smallest TV ever, looking at the smallest TV ever, and It was playing. And I don't know why I watched It when I was a kid, but I did, and I think that I thought the first It was scary because I saw it when I was, 2.
I was thinking about when I was 4, and parents send you to bed and shit like that. I always come out fucking crying about something, or, I need my butt wipe. But I walked out one night and fucking Friday the 13th was on. And I just looked at the television. I just remember being kind of traumatized because somebody was getting their throat slit, and fucking this guy with the mask was walking down the hallway, and it was dark in the living room and only the TV was on. And yeah, it's kind of scary, kind of traumatizing. Friday the 13th, it triggers me a little bit.
A little bit triggered by it. Here's the thing. What happened? I've never even looked into this, but what triggered the fear of clowns? Did that start from It, or was that? Well, I guess before that there was killer clowns from outer space and all types of weird shit like that. But was that a thing, or is that a thing that happened after all that shit?
I don't really know. I just know that back in the 20s and the early 1900s and even into the 1800s, clowns just looked fucking terrifying. And
that's true. And yeah, everything looked terrifying. If you look at any pictures, all the people look fucked up. Like, not like they were ugly or something, but they just looked fucking terrifying. They all had this weird look like they were dead. Maybe it's because, like, they didn't have enough nutrition and they were all starving or some shit. Yeah, but they looked horrible. And, like, if you've ever looked up Halloween costumes from, like, way back in the day, they're absolutely
Oh, they're fucking
horrifying,
way
but
better.
they're so basic.
Yeah, they're way better than any like Halloween costumes that come out today. You look back at those and you're terrified. They're fucking, and the little kids, like short little ass kids, are wearing like the most terrifying masks.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not even a thing that they're dressed up as. Like, now it's like, oh, I'm gonna dress up as Superman, or I'm gonna dress up as a werewolf. These kids had a fucking goddamn, like, fucking what are those sacks called? Like those fucking sacks that you put potatoes in? Fucking potato sacks? Fucking those type of sacks?
Fucking sandbags?
They just like they just cut out a fucking circle, put it over their face, cut like a creepy eyes and a creepy mouth on it, and like had it on their head. And that's not even a thing, but it's fucking terrifying as shit, because why the fuck should a little kid look like that? And yeah, that shit's scary.
I feel like they had to push the limits to get the candy, because candy was probably scarce, and they just like, you have to really be scary to earn your fucking candy. So maybe they took it up a notch, and now kids are just spoiled, and they fucking come out in Power Ranger and Ninja Turtle costumes, and they just have fucking pillowcases full of candy for doing nothing. Back then.
They probably didn't even get candy. They probably got like corn, and they probably got little like wooden toys, like little sticks that you just kind of bounce off of each other, and maybe like a wooden ball that you could roll around, or some shit like that. But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, shit was crazy, and they did fucking weird shit. Like they had like those death photos too. Maybe that's why the regular photos looked so weird and scary, is because those death photos that they would take looked exactly the same. They just dress up their fucking dead family members, put them in a chair, sit them upright, and fucking take pictures of them. Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
No.
Most of the pictures from the 1800s are just, everybody just looks dead. But yeah, no, with the clown thing, I don't know. It could have came from that. It could have came from back in the day when clowns were just terrifying. Now they're like a little more mainstream in a way to where like, oh yeah, I can come to your kid's birthday party. No, you can't. Don't want you there.
Yeah. I think maybe for me when I was a kid, a lot of the reasons why the things that I was the most scared of scared me is because there are things that associated with children, and it's things that I was supposed to be around, but then they make these horror movies about them. I just thought of this. I don't know why I didn't think of it before, but the most scary movie I ever saw when I was a kid was Chucky. 100%. Fucking shit scared the shit out of me. Because it's a child's toy, And I have all types of those when I'm a kid. And it just comes to life and murders everybody. Why was I watching this shit? You know what I mean? But it was
full of kids. Like the movie, like the main actors and shit in the movie were like, there was one of the Chuckies where it was just like a bunch of youth at a camp, like a summer camp. And he was just going through fucking murdering all these kids. So it was kind of geared towards kids because, like, the main actors were your age. So, I don't know what that
there was also
about.
Puppet Master with all the fucking little puppet toys that went around and fucking were killing people. There was that one that had like the drill on his head or on his arm, and you'd fuck people up. Dude, I had a dream about Chucky once, and it wasn't even about Chucky, but in my head I thought it was Chucky. I fucking was a kid, and I was running around, and I ran to the bottom of the stairs. I was already downstairs, but I ran to the bottom of the stairs and looked up the stairs, and it was Luigi. Luigi was standing there. But in my mind, it was Chucky, because when you're dreaming, shit doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense at the same time to you. And I just fucking, like, I'm pretty sure he threw a knife at me, but I, like, caught it and threw it back at him, and it stuck in his forehead, and then I just, like, woke up. It's crazy, man.
I think the movie that scared me the most when I was a kid, that stood out the most, was The Exorcist. Because it's probably the scariest movie of all time to me. And the reason it scares me is because I guess there's like a level of authenticity. There's a level of realness to it. Like when you have movies where there's, a doll that's possessed, or fucking, you have a movie where, what was the other fucking movie? The Clown or something like that. But this is a movie where, it's based on a true story. And, there's a lot of, like, evidence or news stories of people actually getting possessed or whatnot. So it always creeped me out on another level because it was something real. And the movie was terrible to watch, especially if you were, like, under the age of, like, 15. And I remember watching it when I was, like, 11 or 12. and I couldn't fucking sleep for like weeks. I was just like, every night before I went to bed, I just think, fucking, is my bed shaking? Am I getting possessed? Am I going to get possessed because I watched the movie? This is a terrible fucking movie. I mean, this little girl fucking does unheard of things to herself, vomits everywhere, fucking people jump out windows, she's crawling up the stairs backwards. It's just fucking, and it's just terrible.
That's true, But I guess when I was a kid, I don't feel like that's something I thought about, whether or not something could actually happen, because it didn't matter. Like, I didn't know that like weird possessions and shit like that actually happened. So everything to me, all the horror movies were like, well, this is a thing, so it's probably real, all of it.
I don't know. I think it was because I spent a lot of time like going to church when I was little, and so they would always talk about, the devil and shit like that, or God and fucking evil spirits or whatnot. So I was like, oh, there's like some level of authenticity to it. And then, of course, I'd read stories on it because I was kind of interested in reading all these stories about actual possessions. But yeah, I think the movie came out in the 70s. And then when it came out, while they were filming the movie, all kinds of crazy shit actually happened. Like, there was a motorcycle accident to the one younger priest that was in the movie. The lady who played fucking Reagan, the chick that played Reagan that was possessed, she had to do therapy for years after the movie to get her fucking shit straight.
Just
all kinds of stuff.
from shit that happened, or just from doing the role?
Just from doing the role, and I mean shit that happened.
Wow.
I mean, people died on, during the filming of the movie, people died, and then people got injured and hurt like during the movie. So there was all kinds of weird shit going on. I mean, it was one of those movies where it was obviously cursed, and all the actors going forward, they had all kinds of weird shit happen to them. And then even this, I started watching this new shit on Fox that just came out. It was The Exorcist, the show, and I think it's in the second season, and it's a fire show. It's a very underrated show, and I got into watching it, and it kind of, I don't want to, no spoilers. So, but it's basically people performing exorcisms, and they're going around and doing all these exorcisms, and the church has kind of disowned them, and because the church has been infiltrated by like evil spirits or whatnot, but. It's a fire-ass show, and it got me to thinking about, how scary the movie was, and the show's really good, so... But, yeah, I mean, when it was originally released, like, people were banning it, and you had people going to the movie and, like, having fucking, fainting and going into hysterics and stuff like that, so... And there's stories about, like, when they played the movie in the movie theater, and right before the movie started in Rome, I guess it was, they heard, like, a howling scream before the movie started, and... I mean, it's one of those movies where there's like, geez, dude, fucking all kinds of crazy shit.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of cases where during movies, it always seems to be movies that have something to do with maybe something religious or something demonic or just in that field in nature, like The Passion of the Christ. I think it was the director or assistant director or some dude got struck by lightning like twice. Like during the filming of The Passion of the Christ, which is kind of ridiculous.
And Jim Caviezel, the guy that played the Jesus in the movie, he got struck by lightning too.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. Let me bring this up, sorry, because this is a thing that happened to me recently. And this is a real reaction that I just had. Okay, I work at a job doing a thing, and for that job that I do, I have to call people. So I was calling this person, never called this person before in my life. I was calling them, and it went straight to voicemail. But before the voicemail robot lady came on and told me to do anything, it was this loud like interference. It was like, and then that happened for literally like 20 seconds, way too long. I was like, wait, hold on. Am I supposed to be saying something? Did I miss the thing? Should I be talking? And then it came. The girl was like, oh, they cannot come to the phone. But right when she started talking, the interference came back, but it wasn't just the interference. There was a fucking like deep demonic sounding voice in the back of it that was like, like saying some shit while she was saying some shit. And I was like, I can't even understand what the hell is happening right now. I'm not going to leave a message after this shit. And then I hung up. I didn't leave a message because I thought the message was probably going to be all fucked up anyway. But I thought that was weird, of course. But here's the thing. I call these people because I go to their house to do a service. And I'm making myself sound like a prostitute, 100%. But I assure you, that is not what this is. I go there to do a service, and this is the weird part. And I didn't think about this until after I left the house and remembered that message thing happened. Inside this lady's house, she had those fucking, what is it, the big fat like incense thing that you burn when you shake it and like around the house to try and like cleanse the room. She had all types of like books about like spirituality and like demons and shit. And I didn't put two and two together until I left the house, and then I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
What?
Yeah, dude. It was the weirdest shit ever. Like, on the way there, some demons were like trying to talk to me through her phone, and then she like had some like, she had all that fucking like cleansing the house shit. Whenever your house is possessed, you call those people. They come in with the goddamn incense, and they light it, and they fucking incense the room up.
Yeah, that's the sage.
Yeah. The sage. Yeah, she had that there, and it was like, it wasn't like brand new. That should have been burnt, man. That shit should have been used. It was crazy.
Oh fuck,
dude. That's a real story that happened this week. Damn, man, it really is fucking the month of Halloween, isn't it?
no, Friday the 13th, man. It's fucking all kinds of weird shit going on, and you're scared to leave the house. You don't know if you can leave the house. You don't know if something bad's gonna happen to you. But that's a interesting story. I wonder what that lady's up to. You should try to roll through that house a couple more times and see what's cracking.
Yeah, I mean, it was her first service, so I'll be back, or somebody will go back, and who knows. But anyways, yeah, that was really strange. Very, very strange thing that occurred.
But yeah, it's interesting when they do these. Yeah, we were going to talk about the movie, and then that happened to you. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Just it was gearing me up, and I almost forgot about it. That's why I was like, "Whoa, hold on, wait." Ugh. Oh, but I wanted to bring something up because we were talking about movies, and I had heard about this guy, Victor Moreau, and who knows the truth behind anything. You know, especially when it happened a long time ago. I don't know when it happened, but it happened during the filming of Twilight Zone, the movie, which obviously was a long time ago. But Victor Moreau was an actor, director, and he was an actor in the movie. But I think like a couple months before the movie was even going to be shot, he said that I think something bad is going to happen. I have a bad feeling. So he took out a $5 million life insurance policy for himself. You know, claiming that he had some sort of premonition that some bad shit was going to happen. During the filming of the movie, there's a scene, and this scene is, you can see it. Like, this scene, you can find this scene. He's got two kids in his hand, and he's like, I don't even know what the movie's about, to be honest, but he's running across this, like, body of water, and it looks like helicopters are shooting at him or something weird is happening. It's an old-ass movie. But the fucking helicopter is real. And it crashes down on them, decapitating him and killing the two child actors that he was holding. Real life.
Jesus.
They died. Like, on set. And obviously that's terrible, but I guess somehow he predicted that shit to happen and took out that life insurance policy. And that caused a lot of weird shit after the incident, because the fact that he took out a life insurance policy, so the insurance companies and everybody was like, what the fuck is happening? And it was a big thing, but shit's weird out there in the world, folks. Twilight Zone, the movie.
Huh. When did that come out?
I guess. But yeah. Oh, you're going to make me look some shit up? This is me typing.
Yeah, that's fucking...
For those of you...
That's crazy that he predicted that, though, and then it happened. I mean, yeah, you got to be careful when you're playing around with fucking dark movies, I guess. I mean, there was all kinds of movies, like, bad shit happened on the set. I know,
1983, it looks like. 1983, so it wasn't that long ago. But that is a long time ago.
Twilight Zone, movie.
Straight up got... The helicopter just straight crashed down and decapitated him.
That's kind of interesting, because, like, near my house down the road, there's a haunted, like, motel. And it's, like, I don't know, it's, like, 30 miles from where I live. And it was on the Discovery Channel, or one of those channels where they were doing, like, the haunted episodes of whatever. Fucking this guy and his crew go in and they, like, you know, investigate the paranormal. And what had happened at the motel back in the 80s was there was a helicopter crash. So that made me think of it. And it was for a wedding. I guess they were flying the bride and the bridesmaid in with maybe the groom. I don't know. But a bunch of people were on the helicopter, or two people were on the helicopter. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but it crashed. And then when it crashed, you know, they say that, you know, the husband and the wife are still roaming around the hotel and it's haunted. And the town is really creepy. When you drive through the town, you just instantly get a feeling. And I think the town is called Circle or Central. And you can look into it. It's on Discovery Channel. But the vibe you get when you roll into the town is not good. And then, yeah, people have seen, like, you know, apparitions in the windows and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's if you think about it, like, you don't go to somebody's house where somebody just died regularly, you know, not to fucking downplay any death, but where they just died regularly and some shit and like it's haunted now. It seems like if any of this shit is real, it has a lot to do with the amount of emotion and the amount of just like how big the occasion was, because it's always something like that, like a big event where it's supposed to be like this nice time, obviously a wedding, emotions are running high, and then something tragic happens. Like it's just like the happiest you could possibly be mixed with the worst thing that could possibly happen to you clashing together, and then just like creating this lingering emotional scar on that area.
Like a lot of energy has just been like displaced.
Yeah, exactly. And it always seems to be some weird shit like that.
Did you ever watch the Blair Witch Project? Of course you probably did, but did you ever you consider that like a movie that's scary? No spoilers, but like pretty much the only part that scared me was the very end, where the guy was standing in the corner and then like the movie ended. That fucking shit scared the shit out of me, and I have no idea why. The rest of the movie was stressful, suspenseful, and you didn't really know what the hell was going on. The way it was shot was cool. It was like one of the first times that had happened, but it was kind of scary. But I don't think I told this story on the podcast. I was gonna tell it on a different podcast we did. Did I tell you the story about my friend after watching the Blair Witch? I think we had watched the Blair Witch. No. So we had talked about shadow people before in a previous podcast. I think we maybe briefly talked about it with Gunt. But anyway, so I had watched the Blair Witch Project. I think that's what we'd watched. Me and my friend, we watched this movie. And he was like hanging out that night. This is a long time ago. And so we watch the movie, and then like he crashes on the couch. I go back to my bedroom and I lay down, and then like I see him walk in the room. He walks in the room and he goes, I think he thinks I'm asleep. I'm like, oh, he thinks I'm asleep. He's going to try and fuck with me. He walks in the room and he goes to the bottom of my bed, and then he like kneels down to where I can't see him anymore. And I'm like, this motherfucker thinks I'm asleep. He's going to try and scare me. Mm-hmm. And then 20 seconds later, he actually walks in the room. The fuck?
Yeah. So maybe I associate that movie with that actual occurrence. But yeah, he walked in the room, knelt down at the bottom of my bed where I couldn't see him anymore, and I was waiting for him to pop up, and then he walks in the room for real. And I fucking like lost my shit. Ran out of the room, was like, dude, what the fuck? You've got like a goddamn doppelganger fucking shadow person in there. Dude, that was one of the scariest things that's ever happened. Fucking shit was terrifying.
Yeah.
Good times, though, you know? You got to have those experiences in life to really make you think about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I tried to watch The Blair Witch recently, and it didn't have the same effect as it did when I saw it for the first time. When I saw it for the first time in like the 90s, it was pretty good. But then when I watched it again more recently, it was just like, whatever. But it was kind of scary to me that they were in the middle of the woods, and, you know, they were seeing all these kind of weird things, like the sticks put together and stuff like that. It kind of creeped me out. But yeah, the end was like the biggest part of the movie, where it was just a guy standing there staring in the fucking corner. He was just like, yeah, no, fuck that.
And and at the end of the movie, you're still like, dude, what the hell, man? There's nothing answered, really. And you don't really know what the fuck is going on. I think they did a really good job. Like I said, I think it was a really good movie. But it's just, the problem is these days we're so desensitized to everything. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, it was scary then. It's not scary now, because, I don't know. I feel like in my life I've seen a lot of real shit. And like, not like paranormal shit, but just real shit that's actually scary, to where it's like, oh, this is weird, but I don't know. It was scary then. It's still a good movie.
Yeah, it was creative when it first came out, and of course they did a good job of like putting out a bunch of stories on the internet to make it seem real, but it wasn't real, and And that's where it is for me. Like, if it's going to be a really good, scary movie, it almost has to be based on a true story. Because I want to feel like it's something that could, affect me or something that actually happened. It makes you think about it deeper. I'm looking at lists of, like, movies where, scariest movies of all time. And there's movies like Halloween and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's this one movie, I haven't watched it. It's called Martyrs. And it came out in 2008. And apparently it's really disturbing, but I haven't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, you're looking for something to watch on Friday the 13th, Martyrs, 2008. Apparently it's one of the scariest movies of all time, according to this fucking list, but... But
what are the other movies on that list? They're probably trash and ass.
If Exorcist isn't in the top 5, then I don't consider this a very good list. But
I don't fuck with it.
It's a real thing. You can also just go to a fucking cemetery nearby with a fucking video camera and start asking stupid questions.
I know, man. I want to. I'm sure there's a lot of haunted places. You guys don't know this about me. I've got fucking ghost hunting gear. I can go anywhere I want and find them ghosts. I've done it.
Well, if it's fucking Friday the 13th and you really want to live your life to the fullest, to the max, you need to go and fucking test some shit. Because this is the night to do it. And the only two other nights to do creepy shit, and you want it to be at the max. You want to fucking Halloween and Devil's Night, the night before Halloween, and then Friday the 13th. Those are the days that you get to fucking go off and do some creepy shit. You want to find out about the paranormal, you want to reach new levels, fucking go and do this shit. So Friday the 13th, do it.
You could probably hit up some full moons, though, too.
Yeah, maybe. You can howl at some full moons.
Some full moons might be legit.
You can act like a wolf.
Yeah. The thing is, man, I'm not going out there ghost hunting by myself. I need a goddamn crew. I
with
gotta
some
get
ARs and some fucking machine guns.
Yeah, brother.
But yeah, if you're looking for something creepy to do, I mean, of course, you're not going to hear this till Monday, so it's too late.
So it doesn't matter
for Halloween,
to you,
dude. Prep up.
But guess what? Halloween's still coming up. Guess what? Invest in some cheap recording equipment. That's fine. Invest in a cheap little EVP device or something. Go out there, go to a cemetery, goof around. Don't step on any graves. That's trash to do. So don't do that. And maybe if you got all types of money, get yourself a night vision camera, maybe infrared camera, fucking heat sensing camera, whatever the shit. Go out there and really see what's going on, because that's what you really need to see, what's really going on.
It's true. EMF. And
you can also use that to find Bigfoot. So do that, too.
Yeah, you should try to scare yourself on Friday the 13th. You should try to scare yourself on Halloween. That's the point.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Going back to these movies that aren't scary, maybe we're chasing that feeling too hard, and we're trying to scare ourselves to the point where we do scare ourselves sometimes, but it's too advanced, and so these movies can't keep up with what we actually use in our minds to scare ourselves. Because I do this sometimes, like I will, especially when I'm alone, because I'm already like, I'm alone, but then I'm like, what can be scary as shit? And I think about all this fucking shit. And that's going to be way more terrifying than anything they can portray on a movie screen.
Yeah, if you're done with movies and they're not scaring you, perhaps here's an idea. Maybe you schedule or plan a scary vacation and you fucking, I don't know, maybe you go to the Midwest and you visit scary spots, or maybe you fly over to Europe and visit haunted places and haunted castles and shit like that. Maybe you just plan a vacation where, the whole vacation just consists of you fucking going into one scary situation after another. And I think it'll make you stronger. It'll give you experience in the, field of paranormal. And it sounds like a fucking cool idea. So if movies aren't doing it for you, maybe you should go out and do the real thing. You fucking Van Helsing.
Yeah. No, man, I would legit love to plan a vacation centered around just places that are haunted, going to different places and, bringing maybe a little bit of gear, calling ahead to make sure everything's cool. Maybe they'll lock me in for the night, and I'll just go out there and really, really see what's going on. Maybe I'll get scratched up by some demons, or get some bricks thrown at me, or some crazy stuff,
And 3 a.m. would be the time for crazy shit to happen too, because that's like the witching
hour.
Yeah, so. But yeah, set a vacation up. Make a bucket list and say, look, I'm going to spend the night in some place that's haunted. And I feel like you just need to do that. You know, it's just especially if movies aren't doing it for you. If you're a person that watches a scary movie and you fucking shit your pants, then don't go and do that. That's next level. But if you are like me and sounds like you, Rowdy, then movies aren't doing it for you. So you need to spend the night in a fucking hotel.
So, yeah, that's true. And it's not extreme at all. Instead of watching scary movies and getting scared, literally plan a vacation and go to actual haunted places. That's not going 0 to 100, but I actually agree. I think that that's actually dope, and I want to do that now. So
maybe we should plan something.
Let's plan a vacation. We'll meet up somewhere. And oh my dude, holy shit, for the 1-year anniversary of this podcast. Ooh. In the month of October, we will meet in a haunted house somewhere in the world and record a fucking podcast there.
I'm down. Sign me up.
Are you actually kidding me? Holy shit, that's insane. Nobody's out here doing this shit.
So let me get this straight. We decided we were going to do a Friday the 13th episode, and we were just going to talk about movies and, fucking scary shit. We started to talk about some of that, and now we've come to the conclusion of fucking going and spending a night in a haunted house. That went 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah. No, man. And it's not just in a haunted house. We're meeting somewhere, probably somewhere in like Europe, where it's the oldest, most haunted
that's
castle.
That's like next level.
The oldest, most haunted castle or hospital, and we spend the night there and record a podcast.
Wait a minute. Because I don't even like to go to Europe. I have never been to Europe. So not only am I going to a place I've never been before, but then the first time I go there, I've got to fucking spend a night in the most haunted place. Can't we just stick to Kansas? Like somewhere in the Midwest?
Kansas. Well, I mean that is right next door. That's just a 9-hour drive from me. So
it sounds like we need somebody to tell us what the scariest place is, maybe. And then we fucking see what options we have. But
you're right. We may be jumping the gun. We should do a little bit of research and find what is the place that is best suited to stay the night in that's also really haunted, where we would be by ourselves. And we don't need anything to record a podcast. We can use all portable shit. But yeah. We gotta figure that out, because now everybody's gonna be expecting it 1 year from now.
I guess you signed it up, so sign me up.
Well, you agreed.
You need laptops.
You agreed. You agreed. This is a verbal contract, so.
But it can't be one of them fucking half-ass haunted places.
Oh,
I want a place that's like lit.
Yeah, dude. I'm talking about one of those hospitals where like 1,000 people died of tuberculosis.
Jesus.
Those ones.
Like Silent Hill. You want to go to Silent Hill?
Hell yeah, dude. And then that horn goes off, and that's when all the freaks come out. Dude, that game was a scary game. Silent Hill, the game. Shit.
Fuck, dude, the movie was scary. Let me tell you a story real quick. Like, one of the first times I got, like, super high, smoking weed, getting high on the weed.
Drugs, that's bad.
I turned fucking... Well, dude, there was two things that would happen. One, I could smoke a lot of weed and watch Bad Santa, and I would literally laugh until I cried and piss myself.
Wow.
And then there were times where I smoked weed and watched stuff like Silent Hill, and it was so fucking deep. It was so scary. And one of the first times I got super high, I watched Silent Hill. And I just remember it being such a fantastic movie, and so many scary parts, and such an interesting adventure. It felt like I was in the adventure. So Silent Hill is dope. And the game I never played, but the movie was sick. But the game was kind of like Resident Evil, right? It was like first person. Yeah,
but it was a lot. It was creepier because like you didn't know what was going on. Like you knew what the hell was going on in Resident Evil. Although the first Resident Evil is one of the best horror games ever made. But I mean, you're just like walking around and there's mist everywhere. You're walking through an abandoned city, and it's just like weird shit is coming out of everywhere. But man, the original Resident Evil, just the mechanics of the game where to go through a door, it was a small cutscene where it showed the door opening and it was all pitch black around it, and you had no idea if there was going to be a zombie on the other side of the door that was just going to grab you by the shoulders and bite your face off. And they were just like so basic, pale white zombies with just like the skin from their lower mouths missing, but just like disgustingly pale white. Those are the like most terrifying zombies in any game.
That was a
really.
frustrating game. Yeah, that was a frustrating game because you
Yeah.
open the door and then it's just like boom, something hits you and you're just
Yeah.
like you want to run away, but sometimes you can't. You're forced into these challenges, and yeah, that game
Yeah.
was definitely one of the scarier games.
And it
The
was
Friday
fr- I was
the
gonna
Friday the 13th game that just came out. What the fuck? I haven't played it yet, but that's like along the lines of like scary, right? What are some scary games? Like I don't even play scary games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play a lot of games, but I mean, the Friday the 13th game is pretty cool. I've seen it played, and it's just the concept is you're the camp counselors. You're out there, and you're either gonna be spawned into the game as a camp counselor, or you're gonna be spawned in the game as Jason. And if you're a camp counselor, you gotta like problem solve with your teammates and figure out a way to escape, and you gotta get a bunch of stuff together so you can start the car and take off, or repair some stuff so you can call the police. And then if you're Jason, you just get to walk around literally killing everybody, and you have the Jason powers where he just kind of appears places. That's something you can do, and it's got that
Nice.
shit, and it's a dope game. It's a dope game, but yeah, it's not really scary though. Well, I mean, when you're playing it, it's like suspenseful. Like fuck, you hear him, and you got to like jump in crash through a window, and he's got to break down the door to get in. And you have to try and like find a way out. I don't know. It's fucking crazy, but
Yeah, I guess I'm waiting for like a super scary game, a game that you shut the lights off, like it was like Resident Evil. Where you shut the lights off and you're just fucking in it. And I thought that was gonna be the case when I first bought The Evil Within, and then I played it and I was just kind of frustrated. I was just frustrated with the game mechanics. I wasn't that impressed with the game.
yeah,
And but I wanted a scary game. I want a game where I can shut the lights off in a fucking dark room and fucking immerse myself. And I want to be scared. And I don't feel like there's a game like that.
no, it's really difficult, and I think part of the reasons why the original Resident Evil was so good is because the games back then were slower. You like walked around and you had to save the game by like using a typewriter or whatever you used, and it was just slower pace, really quiet, not a lot going on, but suspenseful because you didn't know what was through the next door and you didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And then all of a sudden you could be getting chased by zombie dogs, where now you got to be moving fast. But just the pace of the game was really good. And it's just like movies, man. With games, it's harder to get scared.
Well, and it was cool because I think in the game you step into this mansion, and there's so many doors that are locked, and you can't get very far, but you keep circling the mansion. But there would be times where you go down the same hallway quite a few times, and then the next time you go down the fucking hallway, something jumps out. And that was always scary because anytime you're stepping into a house where nobody's like in there, or you don't know what's in there or what's behind the next door, that seems to be like the right setting. Like when you start a game, you're going to a fucking haunted mansion, or you go into an area where you don't know.
Right.
But you open the doors and something pops out. And then it was always frustrating to me though, more than scary in some places, like you were saying with the dogs, where I'd have to fucking aim at the dogs, and I was just trash at aiming, and I couldn't fucking. So I would just get more frustrated than anything at that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man, there's not really a lot of scary games that I can think of. But
Dude, how dope would an Exorcist game be? Like you're a priest, you're an exorcist, like maybe the church fucking disowned you, but you go on the road and it's just open world. And, the church is chasing you with fucking machine guns, but you're trying to like perform exorcisms, and every time you go into a new fucking house or, a new case, just all kinds of wild shit happens. How crazy would a game like that be?
yeah, you just roll into a town and there's like a message board that you hit up, and it's like, oh, looking for an exorcism to take place, and you just go to that house and it's some new crazy shit every time. Yeah, that could be a good idea. Wow, but we just sent it out to the world, so great. Good job getting money off that one now, Piff.
It was kind of like The Witcher. If you played, like, The Witcher is like one of the best RPGs of all time, and fucking you go in that game and there was like witches and shit, and it was really cool because there was magic and you like slayed monsters and stuff. And I'm just thinking of like a Witcher type game where you're like an exorcist, and maybe it's not weapon systems, but it's like fucking you have like magic or different stuff, and every time you go in, it could be back in the 1700s, it could be fucking now, and it's just you go into different situations and you're just like exorcising fucking demons and monsters and different spirits.
And that's exactly what I had in mind when I said you roll into town and check the message board. I was legit thinking of The Witcher. That'd be perfect for it. But for all you nerds out there,
The Witcher.
there you go. And for all the people that aren't nerds, well, Too bad.
Well, if you're
Play
not
The
playing The
Witcher.
Witcher, fuck off.
Yeah, hey,
Fuck
if you don't
off
play The Witcher,
because it's
you're
great.
trash because it's a great game.
I was just thinking about getting it again because I traded it in like an asshole, and then I was looking at it again. I was like, oh, I never played the DLC. I want to get into it. It's a fucking sick game. It's a sick game. And there's another game. I was disappointed because there is a game called that like Van Helsing where you're like fighting monsters, which is like right up my alley as far as RPGs go. It sounds interesting, but then it's like top view. It's like top view shit. So I was like, I don't know. So maybe if you played the game and it's sick and I'm just an idiot, let me know. But
Right.
I'm looking for those games. I
Right,
want to be
right,
scared. I want to
right.
poop myself.
Well, check it out, everybody. If you want to get scared this Halloween, here's the thing. Maybe you've seen some movies, or maybe you've played some games that actually did terrify you. We'd love to hear about it. We'd love to hear about it because we want to experience those things too. But if you're like us and you don't have anything that scares you, book a plane ticket to Europe. Yeah, of course. Find the scariest, most abandoned, oldest hospital, probably, where the most amount of deaths took place, and now it's abandoned. Stay the night there, and why don't you record a podcast? That'll be great. Do that. So that's
tell
the
us about
plan.
it.
That's what you got to do.
Make
But-
yourself vulnerable.
But yeah, go out there and be vulnerable and do something scary and do something creative. But I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We're getting close to the end here. We covered a lot of ground. We started with movies, and then we moved into other things about movies, and then we moved into video games. But we threw in some real life experiences, and now you guys have some expectations of what we need to be doing 1 year from today. Which, if we can pull it off, that sounds amazing.
We got to plan that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to plan that here in the next few episodes up until Halloween. Maybe we start thinking a little bit, clearer on that. Where exactly we want to go.
Because
and
honestly,
where we
it's
should
something
go.
that I've always wanted to do. Not the podcast part of it, but that could be something else. But before we record the podcast, of course, we have to do a thorough investigation. Yeah, we got to do a thorough.
Dude, we
ghost
should
hunt.
just
Then
do
we
we need to do the podcast with the investigation at the same time. We literally need to start the podcast up as we're investigating. It could be like a fucking 3-hour podcast, but I feel like it needs to be simultaneous.
Yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, and then because we have to make sure that we're recording the podcast on a mic that's sensitive enough that would be able to pick up some weird shit. But yeah, dude, just a podcast as we're walking through this fucking dude. Nobody's out here doing this shit. Don't steal this idea. You fucks out there trying to steal this idea. You're trying to steal this idea, and you're also trying to steal the idea for the game, the Exorcist Witcher game that the Piff was talking about. Don't do it, because we'll come after you. This is documentation right here.
Yo,
I just have to play this. But yeah, anyways. Whoa. Oh.
Yo.
Now I'm really scared.
Yo.
Dude, actually,
yo.
somebody was talking about this the other day. Why is that laugh associated with scary? It's not a scary laugh. It's not at all. But for some
is it?
reason in our culture, that laugh is associated with like being scary, which
It's an evil laugh,
It is
bro.
an evil laugh, sure, but it's not a scary sounding laugh. A scary sounding laugh is someone like whisper in your ear and they're like, that's way scarier. But that's just what it is. We keep doing the same things and expect ourselves to get scared, but it's not going to happen. Anyways, we need to wrap this up. We need to wrap this up. We talked about a lot of cool stuff. If you're going to make a movie, don't make a movie that's going to be blasphemous because you'll get struck by lightning, of course. And just be careful out there. If you have any cool movies or any scary movies or scary games that you've played or any scary just things to talk about, we might keep this spooky.
Jesus fucking
Hey,
Christ.
I was building suspense. We might keep this spooky concept maybe going throughout October, just because it's October and who knows. But anyways, talked about some cool stuff. Hit us up with any questions, of course, that you have or anything you want us to talk about on the podcast. You can hit us up on Twitter at RowdyPiffPod. You can email us at rowdypiffpod@gmail.com. And of course, check us out at our website, rowdyandthepiff.com. Of course, here in a couple days, usually comes out Thursday, but who knows? Piff on the Blitz. Yeah, Piff on the Blitz will be coming out where he talks about everything you need to know in the NFL today. Is that correct? Is that true? Is that true to say? Oh,
Yeah.
and he, I don't know if you're gonna talk about this on Piff on the Blitz, but he got slapped by a fish because he made a bet. He said some things. So
Yeah,
That's on Twitter.
that
You
was
can check that out, and you can see the context.
$7 for the fish, 5 minutes to get slapped by it. I said Jay Cutler was going to throw 300 yards. He threw 80. I got slapped by the fish. I put it on Twitter. If you follow the fucking Twitter, if you know about the Instagram, then you could have saw it. And if you didn't and you don't, then I don't know.
It is what it is. But there you go, guys. I'm not going to say we need to wrap this up again because I said that 5 times already. But we definitely need to wrap this up. So follow us on all those things that we talked about. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, of course, rate and review. We would definitely appreciate that. That would help a lot. And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, send us a comment, send us your feedback. That's all we want. But yeah, have a spooky Friday the 13th, even though it's already passed. Catch you on the Goosamoo. Peace.
Oh boy, from time to time we get sent a bunch of free stuff. And, it starts to stack up. And right now, all stacked up on my desk is Conrad's bean sauce. Okay? And they're sending it to me for free. They want me to let you know that these are the sauce is coming from chefs that cooked up the same shit that you ate before. Guillermo's Soft Chips, the makers of Guillermo Soft Chips. Conrad's bean sauce goes great with turtle meat condor sandwiches or spread onto the always satisfying badger drumstick. Great. Conrad's has been manufacturing bean sauce since 1937. Made from beans that are worked into an array of leftover meat, fats, and juices, Conrad's gives you 120% of fiber fragments and fat cells in one serving. It's also great for rail and axle lubrication. For a limited time, buy 1 can of Conrad's bean sauce and get a free I Love Conrad sweater vest. Or a free Conrad is my bean guy bumper sticker. www.conradsauce.com. Fucking.
What's up, everybody?
We got something special for you this week.
Trash all that. Rowdy and the Piff.
Nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Developing some type of weather weapon.
Almost like sexual asphyxia, like
Rowdy and the Piff.